Hello again, fellow Spectrum fans. Welcome back to part 18 of Countdown to the Spectrum. This is Trashman, released in 1984 by New Generation Software for £5.95, created by Malcolm E. Evans. This game also came out on Amstrad CPC and Commodore 64, described as a genre as an arcade game, action game. This was a unique concept, wasn't it? Let's face it. There's not many people that will play a game where you're an actual dustman, except for maybe if you was a dustman for a living, you might feel finally we've been represented. It's one of the lower scoring games on the 48, but still not a dud by any means in terms of scores, and I picked this one because this was quite an early memory for me. This and Wheelie I think I played a lot together, like in that sort of time period. This got the annual reward of 13th place in the 1984 Sinclair Users Top 50 Spectrum Software Classics. Review Awards was a PCG hit at Personal Computer Games issue number 7 in 1984. And on this particular website, the remark says most of the streets in the game are named after real streets in Bath, where the game's designer Malcolm Evans lived. An exception is Montague Road, which is in Salford, a small village close to Bath. So there we go, a little bit of trivia for you. You could actually play 2 players on this, which I don't know if I ever did. It seems a strange thing to say, considering like every one of these I used to play with my brother, but can't remember. I mean, I just remember the game itself. I don't actually remember how we used to play it, but apparently you can play alternating turns, so that's interesting. This game, I think, for anybody that's never played it, and I don't know why, it's probably because of the location of the game, but it reminds me a lot of Paperboy. I think as well it's because it was kind of like a menial task game. If you're a paperboy, obviously you're riding around delivering papers to houses. This one, you're going into the gardens of houses again, but you're picking up the trash cans and you're emptying them. So it kind of reminded me a lot of Paperboy, I think, in that sort of style. I think the time this came out, I absolutely loved Paperboy when it came into the arcade, so I think that's why I got a lot of joy out of playing this one, because obviously I guess we have to say that Paperboy probably reminded me of this, because I think this came out before Paperboy, although I may very well have played this after I played Paperboy. There must have been very similar timescales, I would have thought. I'm sure someone will tell me in the comments when it did, but yeah, it might be fair to say that Paperboy when it came out reminded me of Trashman rather than the other way around. But so certainly this could have been an inspiration for that game, to be honest with you. So let's put the review from Crash on the screen and have a look at it. It's only a 1-page review. It's very nice, like it looks like a brand new page, this does. It looks absolutely pristine. It is only 1 page. It didn't get a Crash Smash, this one. I guess it probably missed out by a few marks, but 83% overall is not too bad. We'll cover the scores at the end like we always do. Looking for really original ideas in computer games is almost becoming an art of its own right. New Generation seems to have come up with another in Trashman. Even the cover design is different from anything seen before, with its dirty, overcrowded dustbin. As a hero, this is likely to be the lowest character you will ever play, a dustman. See, that's a bit harsh because you don't want to judge people too much there. There might be some dustmen who are like watching this video now, or who are about to play this game, or who read that review at the time and probably were quite insulted by that. Players, in brackets there's a 1 or 2 player option, enter their names at the start and become the Trashman. The object of the game is to walk up and down a street, enter in the house's gardens, collect a dustbin, take it out to the dust cart and empty it, and replace the bin from exactly where it came. You must empty 5 bins in the first road, Montague Road, and do this against a falling bonus score. When the bonus reaches 0, a message comes up to tell you that complaints have been received about your slowness. After the 3rd such ticking off, you're fired. So again, there's quite a lot of similarities with Paperboy, isn't there? You would get fired if you made too many mistakes, and obviously, your mistakes would add up, so if you're breaking windows and stuff like that. Again, I mean, not completely comparable, but certainly little bits and pieces that remind you of it. The screen's display is as a bird's eye view looking down on the rather well-to-do suburban estate, with the road down the centre complete with parked cars and a dust cart creeping up the left side. The road is busy with traffic in both directions. Problems encountered include getting killed by a car, walking on the grass in the gardens, your bonus score drops more rapidly, dogs which attack you on later screens, and wayward kids riding their bikes on the pavement. If you meet a dog or a bike, you start to limp. The overhead perspective view is an isometric one, showing houses on either side, the gardens, hedges, even the shadows on the houses on this bright sunny day. On later screens there are also cafes and pubs. Entering them increases your points, but overeating or drinking too much will cause trouble. Bonus points can be added to your falling total in another way. Sometimes after you've returned an empty bin, the householder will come to the door and offer a tip for services rendered. The content of these services is displayed at the bottom of the screen and replaced with a comment when you leave the house. Just give my ZX81 and I'll control the world is a favourite example. Progressive Progressing to the next level, Pulteney Road, requires you to collect 6 bins. As the Trashman's progress takes some time, he's slower when he's carrying a full bin. He often has to chase after the dust cart which moves up the road a short distance every few seconds. As the playing area is much larger than the display and the 3D graphics are quite complicated, the screen doesn't scroll up or down but cuts from scene to scene. So what do the comments have to say? Keyboard play is responsive but more fun with a joystick. Use of colour, very good. Graphics great, sound fair, skill levels progressive, difficulty screen by screen, lives 3 unless hit by a car. Ouch. Features 1 or 2 player games. That is a nice touch, having a 2-player game. I do like that. I haven't got specific memories of playing 2-player, but I'm sure me and my brother probably did. General rating, fun, unusual, high quality game and very playable. Use of computer 80%, graphics 85%, playability 87%, getting started 86%, addictive quality 76%, value for money 85% and overall 83%. Okay, so what did the criticism have to say? First thing to strike you about Trashman is the graphic quality, which is superb. The colours are all bright and solid, but a lot of use has been made of normal and bright to create the effect of shadows, crossing paths and grass. The perspective view is also very realistic and reminiscent of new generation's Escape. It takes a moment's practice to line Trashman up with a gate, but once you get the hang of it, it's no problem. You must be careful when replacing empty bins, since walking to the correct spot will result in the bin being deposited. If you happen to have overstepped the mark when you turn to leave, you pick the damn thing up again. Emptying a bin in a dust cart is easy enough. Just walk up behind it and emptying occurs automatically. The graphics then are wonderful, the sense of humour is also very good, and the game is hugely playable. The only thing I want to know is what really goes on inside the house when Trashman does a favour. Yeah, best not to ask any questions there, I suppose. The cars on the road are excellent. Not only are they detailed, but they move tremendously smoothly at different speeds, in different directions and at random intervals. The entire playing area is drawn very nicely. Amusing comments are put on the screen if you haven't trodden on the grass and therefore been able to collect your tip. I like the small touches like the cyclists riding on the paths and the dogs which chew your legs, leaving you limping. Trashman is an immensely playable game that's very addictive at first, but I think that quality might wear off after a while. I guess that's why they marked it down on addictive qualities. Nevertheless, it's the best game that New Generation have produced yet. This is quite a different sort of perspective for Malcolm Evans and it works really well. Great use of grey has been made in the colours, not very common in Spectrum games. All the detail, both in the graphics, the way they move and the game content itself is very good. I found it playable and fun. Oddly, it isn't a very fast game in the play-in, but you must realise that you must move with accuracy or you won't complete before the bonus score reaches 0. Marvellous value for money, I would say. I don't know how addictive it will be in the long term, but I shall carry on playing to find out. So that's the review in a nutshell. What do you think? Do you agree with my comparisons maybe to Paperboy? I think it's, like I said, it's probably the fact that you're in a neighbourhood and you're performing a menial task, if you like. I say menial without any disrespect meant. It's just like, you know, if you're doing a job, aren't you, at the end of the day? It's like a back and forth doing a job like you would in Paperboy. So very much reminds me of that. I actually did a video on the channel where I compared versions of Paperboy. I absolutely loved that game. And I know there's not really a lot to it, but of course it is a unique game all by itself, really. I mean, how often do you get to play a dustman? There was also a sequel to this game. I believe it was called Travels with Trashman, which was a little bit wacky to say the least, but it was a bit of an odd game. But this game was fun, it was simple, but a fairly addictive premise. And yeah, one of the first games I remember playing on the Spectrum. Not the first, but certainly one of the first. It was definitely quite popular when I first got my computer in 85. I think it had been out around about a year by that point. Definitely one I have memories of playing quite a lot. As ever, share your memories of playing it in the comments. Let me know if you finished it. It's not a game that I ever remember finishing, but it is a game that I remember having a lot of affection for. So for my mind, I'm glad it was included in the 48, and I'm so glad that it made my 22, so you can see what I thought of the game. Okay everybody, thank you as ever for watching, and I will see you again for part 19. 19! My God, we're nearly at 20. This is just mental, isn't it? Not many to go at all now. This is absolutely crazy. I just can't believe. November's absolutely flying by. I thought when I started doing this countdown that, it was gonna like be agonizing, like doing a game a day, and it was gonna make this month go really slow, but I think it's had the opposite effect. The month's just gone flying. It really has. Before we know it, we're gonna have this machine that has, and I hope it lives up to all the hype. I really do. Okay everybody, see you soon. Take care. Have a good day, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care everyone. Bye for now.